Hello and welcome to another Demis Hellen tutorial. We are going to look at atmospheres today and how to generate an atmosphere in your track using layers of effects and like one-shot things and other loops and all that sort of thing. And one of the best ways to go about it is to search your loops via like online web services like Splice as an example, which I'm going to be using in this example. Or go through your library and search for samples that are either atonal or in the key of your track. So the track that I'm working on is in the key of G sharp, as you can see here, or A flat if you're in a different key. So knowing that bit of information, I have two samples here. One of them, which I've already just done a little bit of an edit on, but you can hear with a bit of delay how it'd sound, and it's a chopped sample, so it kind of makes a looped pattern, but I've just taken that first note. So you just get that sound there, and it's not necessarily going to stay in the track, but it gives you a good idea. And then this sample here, and on that one I have put stereo delay on as well, so I'll just show you. It's copied over from the first sample. It's on quarter notes. The feedback's turned up to 80 odd %. We've cut some of the lows out, and then we've increased the mix to 70 odd % to give it a nice tail that keeps going and going and going. Especially like this sample here has been chopped down. If you look at that, that's the whole sample. I just wanted the first note. So now we have two more samples here, and what I'm just going to show you is my process of how I get them in here. So I will go to sounds on here, and I will search for effects as an example, and then I will pick the key, so I know it's G sharp, and here we are. We have some samples. So now if we play just the bass and the pads, and then we can go through these samples. Till we find some samples that would sound well in the mix. So as you can see, I'm not actually searching for samples that are trance related. It can be anything. So that sounds quite nice. So some of them are coming up as trance, and some are house. So I've already chosen two more samples. So if we go to my downloads, I have got this one, and I've also got this indie dance sample, which freakily fits in with the whole melody idea I've got. So the first one, if we just drag that in, copy file to working directory, make any notes of any tempo so you can match it up nicely. Right, so we have two more samples in here. Let's listen to the first one, which is this one. It's going to sound better there, I think. Very nice. And what we've got going on here is I've already made a cut on this vocal sample, and we're going to copy this delay over. Just to make it fit in nice and smooth. So we'll worry about placement in the track at a later date. And then this is the freakish melody that is like it's been made for this track. Very, very nice. So I'm going to mess around with some stuff there. So we might as well do this all on camera. So I'm just going to drag and drop that on there as well. Sounds really nice. I'm just going to turn the mix down on that. that sounds brilliant already. It sounds like we don't need to add any more reverb onto it. So we have this first one here. We have the glistening, like rising / sweep effect. We have a vocal ad-lib, and we also have this full melody. The idea is I'm just going to take the first note like I did with this one, but we could utilise that with the other melodies there. Right, so how are we going to integrate them? We need to place them into the track. So we'll get rid of that ping for a second there, and we'll have... what should we have? We'll have that vocal line there first. And it's a possibility it might sound on the third chord better. Okay, so obviously it's an ad-lib, there's no actual timing involved, so I just want it to hit on the beat maybe. That sounds quite nice. So I'll put quantize back on, trim it down, and I'm just going to put a bit of a fade in there and a fade out, just to stop any pops. Okay, so that's ready for shaping. So let's just mute that so we don't have that over looping, and in fact we'll just loop it there. Alright, so we're going to shape this now. I'm going to bring up Pro Q3. I'm just going to drag it across from this sample. And it's appeared on the second screen. There we are. Alright, so I think what's going to work better here is if we use a band pass. We'll put a 48 slope on it. So we've instantly confined it to a specific area in the spectrum. Sounds really nice. Just takes a bit of that top end off and keeps that low end off as well. Alright. So let's just turn the volume up a little bit. We'll have to mess around with the gain after. Let's put on... I'm just looking for a specific plugin called Excite, Le Petit Excite. Give it a bit of glisten. Don't overdo it. So we've really put it in a specific area, especially in the headphones. You can hear it nicely. Now that gives me a bit of leeway to narrow this down a bit. I want to keep some of the lower harmonics in there. But not too many. Just want to cut this peak off here. Okay, I'm liking that. So I'm just wondering if it would sound better. Let's just A-B this. We'll put on a bandpass again, and we'll put a 38 slope. What we'll do is we'll capture some of the top end and just the upper mids. So we're expanding it up into this section here, and obviously keeping that cut off there. See, it's a little bit too airy for my liking. Whereas if we listen to... yeah, keeps the area off. Makes it stop like piercing your ears. Okay, so we've got that kind of place there. Let's listen to the glisten effect. Alright, we've got some serious things to deal with here. We've got clipping for a start. So let's knock it down. Just capture that highest peak. Okay, so we're not going to worry about these peaks. Usually this is the sort of thing we're looking for to cut out, like these resonant frequencies, but this is the whole idea of the effect. So we're going to put some reverb. We're going to put some compression on there. We'll use Pro C2 for this one, I think. I was dabbling with the idea of using Malot, but I think this better adapt for showing the signal being processed. So we'll keep it on classic. We're going to have the threshold 5:1, near enough. We'll have a slowish attack. The release will leave quite wide open to let it tail off like slowly, so it sounds more transparent. We'll have it more towards the soft knee, so we're not having like an instant attack thing. It's gradually applying the compression settings, and then we'll adjust this threshold here. So we've got that there now. You can see that middle section's been controlled. If we just bypass that. So you're getting that resonant frequency coming through, whereas this way around, it's cutting it out a bit too much, so we'll just reduce it. And I think that'll work nicely. It'll just keep it under control, stop it piercing through the track too much. Alright, so we're starting to add some detail into the track. So if we now add this into this section here, so it tails off into the main section. Roll that off nicely. So, okay. So bear with me on the balancing of the bass as well. It sounds very up there compared to the rest of the track at the moment. It's because of the last tutorial. So, just to wrap this video up quickly, we'll look at this melody another time because it's kind of falling into the melody category. To fit it into an area now, for example, like this area one, we'll call this Atmos Texture. Alright, so we know what we're listening to and seeing on the mixer here. So Atmos Texture, we are going to apply a copious amount of reverb. So we'll just use Reamworks yet again. It's a second pager, so 2 seconds. There we are. Right, we're going to have no pre-delay. We're going to have the reverb time. We'll just max it out. Size, max out. We'll add all the highs in. And then we'll mess around with the mix. Right, okay, so let's see what it sounds like now. Right, so it's adding quite a large amount on there. Right, we have an issue with some very, 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 very high frequencies going on there. So I'm just going to do a fairly sharp slope. Just let some of them through. I want more of that middle section. It's just a bit too much top end on that first one. Okay, so it's now blended into the background more. Whereas if we turn this off, you can hear it. It's obviously placed on top of your track. Whereas this way around, with copious amount of reverb, it's blending in a lot better. and it's kind of adding to the texture and the atmosphere of the track rather than it being an obvious effect placed on the top of all your piece of music. And that's going to apply to the rest of these samples, so it's just down to creativity now. So that's the same. Let's just apply the same reverb. Let's just see what happens. See what I mean? It pushes it that far in the back of the mix. It starts to become part of just the background noise of the track, which gives all that airy feeling, makes everything sound really full. Instead of trying to make your synths and your pads sound really airy and push them out there, you can still do that, but this adds the texture in the background. You can really control it and bring it to the right levels with reverb and other effects. Flange to make it all appear like it's swirling round and moving. There's all different things that you can do, but that is the basic way to set it in. And once the track gets going, these things just blend nicely into the background. So if you enjoyed this tutorial and you've taken away something from this to add to your own productions, let me know down in the comments below. I do get back to absolutely everybody, and I do spend the first half an hour to an hour waiting for the comments to come through, and I'll have a chat with you guys. So hit the likes button and also hit subscribe if you're not, because I'm posting nearly 3 videos a week at the moment. So and I've got quite a few different topics coming up on the uplifting side. We've got the side trance videos to finish, and I've also got all the voted tracks. New poll will be going up this week as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.